Mikel Arteta's Arsenal are now playing some of the most interesting football, not only in the Premier League, but probably in the world at the moment. And this does come after a slightly bumpy start that did include an FA Cup win, but almost 12 months ago there were fans calling for Arteta's head. So where we are now is really interesting to see. And that's what we're going to take a look at in today's video. We're going to take a look at Mikel Arteta's tactical profile. As always, I will leave timestamps and chapters below. I'm Coach Reese. Let's get into the video. In the early stages of Arteta's Arsenal career, he generally preferred the 4-2-3-1 formation. This was impacted by the players available, but also allowed Arteta to stabilise Arsenal with the defensive security that the formation provides through the solid base. As Arteta's Arsenal have developed and he's been able to implement his own playing philosophy, which is built around positional play, Arsenal have moved into a 4-3-3. Structured as we would expect, with a conventional back four, a single pivot behind two advanced midfielders, and a front three of two wingers and a single striker. The 4-3-3 formation is the go-to formation for any team who are looking to use positional play. And although the formation does have some significance, as we'll quickly discover, once Arsenal move into their attacking shape, it becomes more about how spaces are occupied within the team and the relationships between each player. During build-up, Arsenal will almost always look to play out from the back, with the intention of not only controlling their progression through the pitch, but drawing the opposition forward, creating space for players to exploit as the ball progresses. Arsenal's shape during this initial stage will be a 2-3, or it may be referred to as a 4-1, with both fullbacks beginning high and wide before moving infield. With this shape, there is a diamond with Partey at the top, Ramsdale at the base, and the two centre-backs to the left and right, and this is really important for breaking the initial pressing line. Odegaard and Xhaka will begin slightly higher with the intention of receiving the next pass, but they may drop deeper to provide additional support if required. As both fullbacks invert, it not only provides the opportunity to overload in central areas that allows the progression of the ball to become a little bit easier, it also forces the opposition's defensive structure to compress. This then frees up space in the wide areas so that Xhaka and Martinelli can be found and they can use that space. As with most positional play teams, as Arsenal move forward, they will generally move into the 2-3-5 shape. Out of both fullbacks, Zinchenko will often remain inverted, and this is to support Partey with the central progression of the ball. With Ben White at right back, he will also invert, but he will often overlap to receive the ball or engage the defending fullback. This then creates space for Xhaka and Odegaard to use within the right half space. The wide trios on both sides are really important for Arsenal's attacking success, as they look to overload and isolate defending fullbacks in order to break down opposition low blocks. The 2-3-5 is the shape that Arteta's Arsenal use, and it's really important that these spaces are continuously occupied. But that doesn't necessarily mean that once a player has arrived in a specific area, that they stay there. Rotations within the shape are incredibly important. So we may see one player vacate a specific area. This might be to engage a defending player to create space, but it's incredibly important that that space that is now created is immediately occupied by another player. Within Arsenal's 2-3-5, there are a lot of key roles. With Zinchenko and White inverting to not only support the progression of the ball centrally, they become part of Arsenal's rest defence. This creates the opportunity for the five players across Arsenal's attacking line to have a little bit of creativity. For example, this allows Xhaka to play further forward and within Arsenal's attacking line, specifically within the left half space. With Xhaka in the half space, we will see him either combine with Martinelli to enter the box, or cross to the striker from within this space. We may also see Xhaka arrive into the area to be on the end of a cross. This is generally when Arsenal build from the right. Each player within Arteta's system has an incredibly important role, and we could talk about each one in great detail. If you do want to learn more about a specific player's role, I do have some videos and Instagram posts already available, and I will leave a link to those in the description below. Because of how many players Arsenal commit forward, the short distances between players, along with an organised rest defence, Arsenal will use an aggressive counter-press. This allows Arsenal to quickly regain possession in advanced areas, and by regaining possession in advanced areas, Arsenal are able to sustain attacks and maintain control of games for long periods. The organisation of Arsenal's rest defence, along with the profiles of both Gabriel and Saliba, mean that even if Arsenal's counter-press is beaten, the opposition are still faced with a tough challenge on their route to goal. When pressing, Arsenal will generally move into a 4-2-3-1, with both wingers moving narrow and Odegaard moving centrally to screen the opposition's pivot and be at the base of the diamond. If the opposition are building through a double pivot, Arsenal's pressing shape will resemble a 4-1-4-1, as Xhaka moves forward to support Odegaard. Arsenal will generally look to target opposition fullbacks by forcing the opposition to play into these wide areas. The use of the touchlines is an incredibly important support mechanism when pressing. Pressing and counter-pressing are a huge part of the modern game, especially if you're a team who are looking to be very proactive when in possession. By pressing and counter-pressing effectively, you're able to sustain attacks for long periods. Along with sustaining attacks for long periods, if you can win the ball back quickly as the opposition's priorities change from defending to attacking, you're able to exploit unbalances that may occur. Moving backwards, Arsenal's mid and low blocks will be a 4-4-2 or a 4-4-1-1. The position that Odegaard takes up will generally determine which shape it is. The purpose of Arsenal's mid-block is to force the opposition into wide areas and restrict access into the opposition's midfield players. Arsenal may choose to press from their mid-block, but it will be much more dependent on pressing triggers, and this is to avoid the mid-block losing its compact structure. Continuing to move backwards, Arsenal's low block will remain as a 4-4-2 or a 4-4-1-1. Again, the role of Odegaard will determine which shape is used. With their low block, Arsenal are looking to protect central areas in key zones like the half spaces and zone 14. This naturally forces the opposition backwards to allow Arsenal to gain territory, or in wide areas where Arsenal may look at winning the ball. So that's a look at Mikel Arteta's tactical profile. What's impressed you about Arsenal this season? Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below. As always, if you have found the video useful, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I've been Coach Reese. Have an amazing day.